Everyone has mediumship abilities. Everyone is a psychic, but not everybody believes it. So why? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria Bond. If it's your first time, I'm a psychic medium and a spiritual empowerment coach. And today we're going to have so much fun as we uncover some of the things that may be holding you back when it comes to mediumship. This is Mediumship 101. In this video, we're going to cover what is mediumship? What are the lies that mediums are telling us? Where are we using mediumship in our everyday life? And how can you enhance your mediumship gifts? Make sure you stay till the end because I've got a very special gift for you. We're going to do an activation that is going to help you tap into your mediumship abilities faster. So what is mediumship? Now, before we get into this, I've got to let you know, everything that I bring through is a channel and it's from my experience as well. So I don't have a dictionary or a journal here or a book learning from something else. This is my own creative channel and my experience coming through to you. So take what you want. And also feel free to share in the comments your experience because we can all learn from each other. So back into it. What is mediumship? Well, a medium is somebody that can bridge the gap between human and the spirit world, between the 3D and the 5D. A medium is a portal, a vortex, a vessel of communication, a bridge between the worlds. So the funny thing about this is not many people think that they are mediums. There's such a small amount of people in the world that say, hey, I'm a medium. Hey, I can communicate with the dead. Hey, I work with energy to get understanding and work and communicate with my guides. Tiny bit. And I was one of those people that didn't believe. I thought that you were born with the gift of mediumship, that you basically had been blessed by God or cursed, depending on which way you looked at it from whatever viewpoint. And you had these abilities that nobody else had. Interesting, right? So what I've learned up until now, and by talking to spirit and having this incredible communication that I have the ability to access now, is that there's different levels of how much we can tune in. So in other words, if we're the bridge, maybe we're at the beginning of the bridge, so we're more 3D, more human, or maybe we are over here where we communicate very clearly with spirit. It depends on us. It depends on our life. It depends on our willingness. It depends on the practices that we are using, that we are actually implementing in our everyday life. So I go back to what I say, everyone is a medium. Everyone has psychic abilities. But what are those for you? Everyone is different. We're always looking at the TV psychics thinking that that is the norm. But we don't know what they have done, how they have traveled across that bridge of communication in their life with the experience and the channels and the time that they've put into being able to communicate with spirits from the other side. So when it comes to mediumship, let's just smash out, right? Let's just smash out all of the points of views that we think our mediumship, all of the limitations, and start opening our minds to what else is possible with the word mediumship. So even the word itself is extremely limiting because, like I teach in my signature Magnificent Mediumship certification, this is not just being the communicator between the two worlds. Now, if we think it's just being a communicator between the two worlds, we think that we are merely I'm just here, I'm just communicating, I'm just this lubricant between the conversation, but I want to call BS on that. And you know why? Because in my experience of mediumship, when I'm talking to somebody's loved one in spirit, I need to know who they are and they need to know who I am. because maybe they don't have a body anymore, but they still exist. So a lot of us, when we get mediumship readings or when we are wanting to practice our medium, we're trying to prove ourselves or get the reader to prove to us that they're seeing something from the other side. And we're forgetting there's a total human aspect to this, which is rapport, which is connection coming from the heart. And another way of saying this, if I went out for lunch with you and say your nana, would you expect me to sit there quietly while you and your nana just talked? And would you ignore me? Or would we ignore your nana and we would just talk? No, we would be having a three-way conversation. And this is what happens in mediumship is like, it's really important for me to go, oh, hello, how are you? Welcome in. You can come closer. It's okay. My name is Victoria. I'm saying this to the spirit as well as communicating with the human as well. So a lot of mediums are so focused on trying to get the information that they're actually not acknowledging the feelings of the spirit that has come through. A little bit of food for thought there. So all in all, Mediumship 101 is you are communicating with the other side and with the humans around you, but it's all the same thing. It's just harder to communicate with the spirit because we don't have a human standing here directly communicating in this body with this language and this voice and the body language and all that type of stuff. So we've got to tune into their frequency, which takes more patience. But all in all, we're talking to spirit, whether it's in human form or whether it's in spirit form, because we are all human. And if you've watched my past videos, you'd hear me say this all the time, or you've done any of my free programs or Cert, obviously, you are spirit and you have a body. And sometimes spirit comes along and they don't have a body anymore, but they can communicate in different ways. But if we don't tune in to their channel, then, and we don't have the patience because we're trying so hard to see them and hear them in the way we are now, then we miss those opportunities. So this is why I say, let's just smash up all of the density around what it means to be a medium and start getting curious about what does mediumship mean to you? The lies that mediums are telling you, and the world for that matter. Not everyone is a medium. No, you're born with a gift. It has to be in your bloodline. Or you have to do a whole lot of different trainings. And unless you are qualified and you've done all these tons and tons of trainings, then you can't say you're a medium. It's like, you don't need a qualification to be a medium. It's very, very similar to Reiki, right? Yes, of course, go get your Reiki 1, 2, 3. I'm a Reiki master. But do I need to be a Reiki master to flow source energy? No, because I am source energy, just like you are spirit. So of course you can communicate with spirit. So basically the lies that we have been told, whether we've been verbally told them or whether it's kind of just been like a feeling, like an energetic knowing not to go there, is that you have to be born into this or born into a particular family that is that way inclined. Maybe you are quite hippie or quite spiritual, and you've been brought up in a way where your mediumship gifts have been nurtured. Sure, you're more likely to be a medium if that is true, but the truth is everyone has access to this. Now, it may take longer to hone into your gifts and to really nurture them, but of course it's going to, if you've been brought up in a church and you've been told to stay away from all of the mediumship tools. Of course, if you've been told, we don't have time for that nonsense, or you're from a big family, or you've been brought up in an education system which does not ever honor energy or teach about it, which is, I'd say, most schools that we have in the world, then why would you think you're a medium? And then you're getting told that you have to be born with this gift, because not everyone is a medium. And who do you think you are if you think that you are? You're dreaming. Do you get what I'm saying here? So it's really, really interesting to me the amount of mediums that have even messaged me and said, why are you telling everybody everyone can be a medium because they can't? And I'm like, okay. What about all of those people that are interested in mediumship? They come and do my cert, or they even just come and have a chat to me, and they realize by the end of our conversation that they are a medium. And this is one of the conversations I want to have with you today. If you feel like you're a medium, you will feel a spark in your heart. If you feel like you're a medium, you will have a little bit of an excitement when I'm talking. And if you're still watching this YouTube video, I would 100% put money on it that you are a medium. Otherwise, you would have stopped watching ages ago because it wouldn't have resonated. That doesn't mean that you're not a medium. It just means that you're not interested. Can I become a mechanic? Absolutely. Do I want to? Hell no. Absolutely not interested in cars unless they're getting me from A to B, or I'm listening to the radio in the car. I don't care about what's under the bonnet because it does not interest me. So not everybody is going to be interested in spirituality or mediumship, but every single person has these essences, has this DNA within them, and can access it at any time. So why have people been lying for centuries and centuries and centuries about gifts? Why is this a hidden secret that saying that not everybody can access this? Because people want to keep their abilities, these superpowers, to themselves, probably for selfish reasons, or they've got limitations and mistaken beliefs about it. So not everybody is trying to keep it to themselves, of course, but there's definitely this thread throughout all of these centuries of hierarchy. And we can see this when we look into the patriarchal system. It's like every time when we look at the witch wound, even, I don't know if you know about that, but even every time we tried to make out remedies or use our healing abilities of touch, it's like witch, get burnt at the stake. So no wonder we don't want to tap into our abilities or try, and we just leave it up to those that were born with the gift that can see it all and hear it all, and it happens so easily for them because it's not as easy for every single person, but it is possible. Mediumship is not just about talking to dead people. There is so much that comes with mediumship, but this is Mediumship 101, so I'm not going to go into the training of all of those different things. But I do want to tell you, when we are looking into mediumship, any decent medium that is doing it for a living will understand that there is entity clearing, energy shifting. There is working through witch wound, limitations, mistaken beliefs, signs and synchronicities, numerology. There's all these moving parts when it comes to mediumship. It's not just like, oh, I can see that there's a man here who wants to talk to me. Sure, that happens. But there's also this kind of sacred service that we have to create. So a sacred spiritual practice. Okay, there's many different names I can say it. And I quite often call it spirit mode. In my certification, it's spirit mode. To become a medium, you must understand that it's not just flicking a switch and all of a sudden talking to someone's loved one that's passed away. We have to be able to come into ourselves in our body and create a space that is sacred, a sacred service for ourselves, and then we come into a spirit mode. I know this might sound a little bit cray-cray if you're new to this, but I don't want to overwhelm you. I just want to let you know that before we do mediumship, what we do is we have to come into a space where we are receptive to receive the vibrational communication from the external. We've got to be able to receive it. So here's something as well that I'm going to remind you of. You are energy. I say this like in all of my videos. You are energy. It is your first language. But if you're walking around in this vessel saying, I am human and I communicate with my voice and this is how I function, and you're not actually focusing on how to utilize your energy to flow it, to pull it, to expand it, to shape it. We're shapeshifters. If you don't understand energy 101, then it's going to be a lot harder for you to tap into your mediumship gifts. So mediumship is like a huge tree full of lots of different branches with lots of little fruit on it. It's not just one branch which is talking to people that have passed away. We have to be able to communicate through energy, knowing if what these spirits require. Do they require help passing over? Do they want to communicate? Is there something that they want to do for their loved one that they have left behind? Is there a message that they want? What is actually going on with the spirit? And quite often we need to clean up energy, because if you're like this crazy manic like mother with like 5 children and 2 jobs, and you want to go do mediumship and you want to just click in really quickly, you're going to have to create a space, right, where you can actually go, I need to come into the sacred service. I need to come into the spirit mode and ground myself and really block out all of the noise. All the children can go, the jobs can go, the to-do list. Everything has to go away so I can communicate in with spirit. So there's so much more layers to mediumship. And this is what I like to teach about, is everyone can do all of these things. But where are you coming from? Are you coming from a space of like, oh yeah, I want to see a ghost? Or are you coming from a place of service? I desire to help people heal. I desire to communicate with those who have passed over from love, from expansion. And I am a part of that. I'm a part of that communication process. I'm not merely just the medium. So there's this kind of energy where mediums, where, I don't know, they're full of, they look like, they look really shady, like they've just come out of this dark little room and they've got this dark, scraggly hair and like some rotten teeth, and they're like, here they are, like with their crystal ball, and there's lots of cats around, and it's all kind of smoky in the room, and it's like, and they live in squalor, right? And you pay them $20 or you bring them a couple of eggs for an energy exchange. Like maybe centuries ago, but not now, because I'm a medium. I'm also a mum. I'm also a friend. I also, teach business, and I'm a sister and a daughter, and like I live in a community. I'm a normal human being, but I also talk to dead people. I also communicate with extraterrestrials. I also time travel. I also I do so many things. I clear entities. I clean up energy. I work on my limitations, the conditioning, as I'm always deconditioning. The deconditioning part of this is all a part of the mediumship, because there's a lot of fear when it comes to mediumship because of the centuries of programming of what it means to be a medium. I hope you're still with me. I know this is a lot and we go in many different directions. So if you're starting to feel like a little bit chunked out, feel free just to lie down and receive the energy that is coming through. So like I always say in my communities, my voice has a codex, and as I am speaking, you are actually activating and working on your deconditioning already. So please feel free to lie down. You can take notes later. Proof that you're a medium. Everybody wants proof. We have been taught that we need proof and we need evidence in this world to know that we're on the right track. So fair enough. So what we're not told is that we have proof everywhere, all day, every day. We're using our intuition, which we are not taught about at school, which blows my mind. We are using our intuition to make decisions daily. Now, isn't it interesting then when we grow up and we try to stop using our intuition and we try to use our head more, we seem to get in more trouble? Isn't that interesting? But when we follow our heart and our gut, we never get it wrong. So every single day, you're practicing your mediumship gifts by listening to your intuition, by using your imagination, visualizing different things, taking note of your dreams. What is going on in your dreams and how are you feeling within those dreams? There's so many clues in your dream because you're getting out of your head, right? And you're actually just going into this sleep mode, which is also like a spirit mode. So, of course, the subconscious comes up and we're going through our day and our feelings and all that type of stuff. But you get a really good gauge on where you are energetically, because to know spirit is to know yourself. So, your dreams and your intuition, your imagination, the feelings that you have about the people around you. And you know what I mean. If you go and have coffee with somebody, are you wide open straight away where you're like, hello, I'm vulnerable, or are you like a little bit, oh, okay, we just kind of have our distance and then we kind of get closer and closer, then we feel more comfortable. You have to create more of rapport. We're aware of other people's energies. That's what I'm trying to say here. And what about those times when you're like spontaneous? Let's go to the beach. Oh, I really feel like going for a walk right now. Let's go a different way than what we went before. Or I really feel like bringing that person. All these spontaneous acts are really working on your gut if you're following your gut instinct. And this is where the magic and the miracles happen. Because, of course, you went another way around and then there was delays with the normal way that you usually go, or you ring up somebody, of course you did, and then they've got some news for you, or it was exactly the time they were thinking of you because they really, really wanted to talk to you. Magic and miracles are everywhere. Today, even I walked around the back of my house. I knew all my roses had ended, and there was two beautiful half open roses. You can see one in the back there, and I've got one next to me as well. Got these two beautiful roses that are in the perfect bloom that smell delicious that are here to support me in this video. That sounds weird, and many would say, sure, whatever, Victoria, it's a coincidence. But the more you live your life from your intuition, from listening to what your tummy and your heart is telling you to do, the more prosperity you get, the more spiritual connections you get, the more incredible people come into your life, and the more signs and synchronicities you see because you're coming from what we call the divine feminine. The divine feminine energy is all about flow. But unfortunately, we've been told and we've been taught as well to be in our masculine, to be massive action takers, to fill up our diaries, to make every minute of every day count with action. But it doesn't leave much wriggle room for the creative aspect. So when we come into our bodies are full of what we call chakras and meridians, which are basically energy vortexes. It's a whole energetic system, another thing that we're not taught in school. And when we're in alignment, we must be in our divine feminine. Of course, the masculine is just as important, being in the sacred masculine, but we've got wounds when it comes to both the masculine and the feminine because of what we've been taught and what we've been told and what we've experienced. And therefore, we keep repeating a cycle and think that we are just what we are instead of acknowledging we are so much more. So mediumship is happening to you every single day, but when you're looking and trying to find the ghost in front of you or hear the ghost in front of you or see the ghost in front of you, even in your third eye, when you're trying to figure these things out, then you're missing the rest of the picture. And the rest of the picture comes in this divine feminine flow. As I allow myself to have space and come into this sacred service of self, I come into a spirit mode automatically. And this happens to me every single day without even trying. Now, if I want to try to be a medium, I will bring the sacred service of myself and I will come into a spirit mode deliberately by using tools. I will bring in crystals. I always have a glass of water with me because water is a magical medicine, believe it or not. I like to bless it and drink it. I have things like oracle cards and roses. I have my hat. I create a space where spirit knows that I'm available to do readings. Do I need these things? No, I don't. But it's creating a ritual, it's creating like an altar. And when we do this, it makes it so much easier to tap in. It's like when you go to the gym. Are you going to go? I'm wearing a skirt today. Am I going to go in my hat and my skirt? I could go, but the workout's going to be quite limited. Where if I go to the gym, like I did this morning, wearing my active wear and the correct shoes, my hair was tied up out of my way, I had my earbuds in so I could listen to my favorite music, then of course I can have an efficient workout. But nobody seems to be creating a special space for their mediumship. They're just expecting to do it so quickly. We need to be practicing and creating the space to tap into it when we want to go deep into mediumship. But first of all, we want to acknowledge where every single day we are tapping into the magic and the miracles that are already around us. And we must bring gratitude into that. So a simple thing like picking my 2 roses today, and I've got 2 perfect little vases, and I could bring them here today onto this YouTube video. Of course, for me, I feel like that's a miracle, just as much as if I was talking to somebody's nana right now. Now, we've got to understand that the magic and the miracles of every single day life are just as powerful, just as potent as time traveling, going to a completely different universe through a meditation, or connecting to somebody's loved one who has passed. That is one of the biggest golden nuggets that I will ever share with you. Every single day and every single moment, when there's a miracle, when there is magic, the acknowledgement of that in that moment helps you to expand your mind, to expand your heart so you can receive more. And if you do this as your daily practice, and then when you want to bring in the sacred service, you want to bring in the spirit mode, when you're bringing in a lot of the fundamentals that I teach is creating the space with prayer and asking for yourself to be like coated with a white light, and flooded in the whole room, and doing entity clearings and energy, simple things that I teach in my Magnificent Mediumship certification make such a big difference. So there are things you want to be aware of when you're doing mediumship. You want to be able to know that you're coming from your heart. If you're trying to do it with a Ouija board and you're drinking lots of alcohol and you're doing goodness knows what, and you're saying, spirit, come on in here and, have some fun and show me some things, they will. And you may not get the best spirit in the world coming in. So you may be getting some earthbound spirits that are low vibrational. They don't even know that they've passed over yet. And I don't say this to scare you. I say this to educate you, because we don't want to be playing in the dark with this stuff. We want to bring this sacred service, this spirit mode, our heart and our expansion. This is why we're going to do a meditation soon. So make sure you keep watching. It's really important for you to know that you are loved, protected, guided, and you have your angels and your spirit teams around you. Now, another example of this, if you haven't listened to my videos before, or maybe it's a reminder for you if you have, is I'm not going to go and say, hey, everyone, come to my house. I'm having a big party, when I don't know who I'm inviting. Why not? Because I might get the drunk kids down the road. I might get the drug dealers. I might get like some riffraff. I might get people that I'm like, I don't want these people in my house. Like, maybe they won't want to leave. Maybe I get a few homeless people that go, great, thanks for the invite. I'm just going to bring my backpack and I'm going to stay here forever. And that is what doing mediumship without understanding like what your intention is, that's what it's like. You're just like, come on in, everybody, let's go. Spirit are going to take that opportunity, that invitation to come on in and talk to you. And of course, many of the spirit are amazing. And this is why this work is so worth doing. But at the end of the day, you've got to be willing to hold yourself at a certain standard. And that is why we talk about creating a beautiful, sacred space. So we've got the signs and the synchronicities, which in my experience, most people just completely palm off. I've watched most people my whole life go, wow, that's a coincidence. Wow, that's a coincidence. Wow, that's a coincidence. Or that's a miracle. That's a miracle. And quite often, those that say that's a miracle have been like, that's a miracle from God, and that is completely separate from me. But the truth is, your language is signs and synchronicities. So I talked about the roses before. That's a very significant thing for me this week in particular with the roses. So it's a total miracle that these two roses popped up from nowhere because I thought they were all completely gone. They came up overnight to support me today. So feathers, butterflies. We have got, what else are some of the things? Maybe there's a particular type of bird that you notice, or fantails, piwaka waka, we call them in New Zealand, are really prominent for me. I always know that my granddad's around when there's a pea waka waka around. Little things like 111 or 555, or a lot of my clients have got like 7869. Like they've got these random numbers that pop out and echo at them. These are all signs and synchronicities. When you're in the mode of receiving the divine feminine that I talked about, and you're like, I'm receptive, I'm willing to receive the information that you're going to bring to me, and I'm open-minded, meaning I'm not looking just this way, trying to make sure I see them or hear them or whatever, like right here, right now, just in this way. No, I'm willing to see and feel everything, which means I have no expectation of how it comes. When you're willing to do that, more and more and more come. So that's why when you see a feather, you go, oh, wow, there's a feather. And then all of a sudden you see 10 more that day and you're like, what? This is blowing my mind. Or same with butterflies, same with the birds, whatever that means for you. So when we're tapping into this energy, we can start hearing whispers from our guides. Go here, or do this, or have a nap, or go do some journaling, or ring that person. When we start following these breadcrumbs, that is what creates way more for us. And then when we start playing with cards, when we're in this energy of flow of divine feminine, then what happens is spirit can come in so much more easier, or should I say, we're connecting to the spirit that's already there. So maybe considering that as a concept. Maybe it's not spirit coming to us. Maybe spirit is already there, like our loved ones in spirit, and we can drop the lenses. We can expand beyond the 3D limitations, basically become the multi-dimensional being that we truly be, and actually travel to where that they are, which is here. So we've got to notice and recognize that all these dimensions are still just here with us. So when we're talking about time travel and going off and doing that, are we really leaving? Or are we just accessing something that's already here with us? It's like being in a mansion and having a whole lot of doors in there, and you can go and access any room. Some of those doors are locked. Some of those doors are open. And like if we're a multidimensional being and we do mediumship gifts and we want to access all parts of us, the clearing and the energy shifting, the reading, like the guidance, as well as talking to spirits, we need to open all of those doors, but we are the mansion. We've got to hold the mansion. We've got to keep it clean. We've got to keep the standard high. Do you get what I'm saying? So a little story about me. I nearly lost the plot because the signs and the synchronicities were becoming so big. So I wouldn't just see a feather. I would walk into a room and I felt the whole room was full of feathers. Now, of course, I wasn't seeing this with my eyes. I was seeing it in my third eye, but there were so many feathers. I was like, I couldn't even see the room. Quite often I'd just see static. Now I still do when I'm doing readings, where I'm standing there and all I can see is static. It's nearly like the frequency between the radio stations, or if you change the channel and there's no channel there, right? It's just like static. So that would happen to me. And I would hear songs going over and over and over again, the same Pink song or Katy Perry. There'd be a little bit of the chorus that would just go over and over and over and over again. Little things would pop up, a name, a sentence, books would nearly fall off the shelf at me. And then I realized that they weren't falling off. They were just like popping out energetically. I would see neon words in my head. I would see people, like loved ones that I had passed, loved ones that had passed away, come through another person in front of me. I'd be like, swear to God, that man was my granddad. Like, I'd be like, whoa, I'm pretty sure I just saw my childhood friend that passed away in that person. So weird things happened when I started turning up the abilities, when I started being more in my divine feminine and saying, what else can I see? What else can I see? What else can I feel? What is going on? Without trying so hard to talk to dead people, I was like, well, no, I need to know what all of this other stuff is. What is this willow tree? What are all of these branches? So I could get a good grasp on what was happening. And this is what I teach. I don't just teach the one little thing, I teach the whole thing, because this is a holistic approach to mediumship. So for me, it was this kind of like pulling my hair out, going crazy. What do you want from me? It's everywhere. Part of me was in my divine feminine going, oh, I'm receiving more and more and more and more. And the other part was at my edges going, I can't handle this anymore. So much to the point where I went to the doctors and said, yeah, like, I think I don't know, like I need some help because I can't sleep. I struggled to sleep so intensely because I had buzzing in my ears. I felt like something was touching my hair or rubbing my shoulder. I felt chatter. And often I'd see face after face after face after face after face after face. All these things were happening. It was exciting, but it was scary and it was overwhelming, and I definitely couldn't hold it. And this is why many mediums, that they give up. They stop and they say, I can't do it. It's too much. It's too taxing on my body. We've got to understand in Mediumship 101 is spirit. They're not trying to tire us out, but they're in a different dimension, and they don't see things as clearly as we see them right now. They've got their own things to do, their own places to be. They are free of the body, and they're very aware of different things, and they've got all these missions that they want to do. And when they see that you're available, because you're in this feminine energy of receiving, they're like, hello, can you go talk to my auntie? Can you go talk to my mum? And they can come flooding in. So having a really good standards and boundaries, but not creating massive walls of get away from me, which people either do one or the other. They're like, come to me, and then they can't hold it and they don't sleep. And they end up at the doctor's going, can I have some sleeping pills? Or they are like, nope, don't come near me. I don't want too much. And what I try to teach is, how can you be in the middle? How can you be receptive to what is coming in when you are ready for it? This is why it's so important to create this space, play and dance with the signs and synchronicities every day, but create the space for when spirit does come through the highest frequency and vibrations. Instead of going, oh my God, I'm so afraid they're going to come through. Well, I've got to do it by the book, Like, no, spirit doesn't come through very well when you do that because it's so rigid. How can you create a beautiful spiritual mediumship practice? And when you've been practicing, listening to your gut and your heart, you know what is energetically correct. You know the right timing. You know how to create the space because you are the creator of your time. Therefore, you are creating the space. It just magically happens. There's no more stories about you're too busy to do anything, because whatever you focus on, that is what happens. You create more space for your mediumship. Everyday dance, but creating a divine space to do your actual readings in. Understanding there's nothing to fear, but you must hold a standard of knowing that you're only here to invite in the highest frequency beings, the highest vibrational beings, and you must always come from your heart. If you're not in your heart, if you're trying to prove, then you're coming from your ego. Okay, so we have covered a lot, and this channel has been very big. There's been a lot of activations. We've worked a lot on your subconscious. So if some of the things haven't made sense to you, or it seems like I'm talking in riddles, that is okay. It's going to integrate over the next few days, and you will find that your capacity and your energy will expand to be able to hold more concepts of mediumship, but also to dismantle a lot of the limitations and the mistaken beliefs that have been holding you back in your mediumship. If you haven't understood all of the terminology that I've spoken of, don't worry. What you want to do is you want to write down like what really popped for you, what you really got, and maybe some of the things that you didn't quite understand, and become a bit of a researcher, or pop in the comments, what does that actually mean? And I will be able to get back to you. So I want you now to, before we get into the meditation, I want you just to sit for a moment and notice what you notice after listening to all of this information about Mediumship 101. Maybe you've learned a few things, and I'm sure you've been reminded of a few things as well. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What is the thing that's really popped for you? What has really stood out in this video so far? What awarenesses have you got about yourself already? Do you believe that you're a medium in your heart? Not your head. Do you believe you're a medium in your heart? Is it time to hone in on those skills, to create your own sacred self-service, to understand and learn what it means to come into a spirit mode? Pop it in the chat box. Let me know. I want to have some conversations. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a meditation. So please take your time and go find a spot that's comfortable. You might want to pause me while you're doing that. It's totally okay. Go find a space, maybe get yourself a blankie, maybe have your journal next to you for afterwards in case anything comes through. Make sure you've got a drink of water next to you as well. And make sure you're in a space that you won't be interrupted for the next few minutes. If you are driving, please stop this recording and listen to it later, or pull over to the side of the road and give yourself a few minutes in a rest area. When you're ready, I invite you to close your eyes down and take a nice deep breath in through your nose, all the way down to your belly. Hold for a moment and breathe out your mouth. Again, in your own time, breathing in through your nose, all the way down to your belly, filling up that belly, holding for a moment, and then breathing out your mouth as you let all of the training just roll off. And again, in your own time, another deep breath in through your nose, holding and breathing out. Regulating your breath now, and doing a body scan from the top of your head all the way down to your toes, noticing if there's any areas that are feeling tense, feeling tight, hot, stressed, or sore, and breathing in love to any of those areas, caressing that area with your breath, and breathing it out as you drop down deeper into relaxation. And just knowing that you are guided, loved, supported, and safe in this process. Relaxing your body now as you fully relax from the top of your head all the way down, down, down to your toes. Just noticing your jaw loosening up. Noticing your hips, your hands and your feet loosening, relaxing, surrendering your body to relaxation. And now we call in your spirit teams, angels, ancestors, guides, animal guides, light beings, Any earth beings, elementals that desire to be here today to support you, all of the highest frequency and vibration from the highest realms, and anything that is of a lower vibrational frequency must leave immediately now. I invite you now to breathe into your heart center, and as you breathe out, visualize the warmth spreading your energy from your heart into the room. As the warmth of your heart expands into the room with every exhale, breathing in love and light, and breathing out the warmth of your heart to fill the room. And as you expand to fill the room, knowing that you are this warmth, so now you are as large as the room. Just noticing where your body is as you relax even deeper. And know that your being has expanded. I invite you now to keep expanding and expanding and expanding. How far can you expand? Where have you been able to expand to? And now, expanding through the earth, around the earth, and all the way out to the cosmos. You are loved, guided, supported, and safe. And while you're in this space of expansion, I want you to notice a door in front of you. This door is going to lead you into a very special room. Maybe this is the room where you can tap into your mediumship gifts more. This is your spirit room. And within that room is only love and light. Within the room is your guides waiting for you, your loved ones waiting for you. Before you go into the room, just notice how you feel. And notice what the door looks like. What color is the door? Is there a door handle? What does it look like? What does the door look like? When you are ready, open the door and step on in. Shutting the door behind you and noticing that this is your room. Maybe it's already decorated, or maybe you need to decorate it and make it beautiful. How would you like this room to look? Use your greatest imagination and make this room beautiful. What colors are in this room? Is there walls? Is there animals? Is there furniture? Is there trees? Is there grass? This room is your room. Using your greatest imagination, make it the space and place of your dreams. And now that you are done making this place beautiful and comfortable for you, I invite you to go find a space within this room where you can get comfy, because some of your friends are just about to come forward to meet you and greet you. So find a spot and a place that's comfortable for you, where you feel safe and loved. Maybe it's under a tree, or maybe it's on a couch. And now you will notice that 3 meters out from you, there's a circle right around you, and your spirit team is there. Your spirit team are your guides, your loved ones, spirit animals, and there may be even some of your past lives that have come forward, the blueprints to support you. Maybe some light beings from the collective where you were seated. For the next minute, just want you to use your greatest imagination to notice what you notice with this circle of your spirit team around you. What can you see, smell, hear? And you can get up from the space where you are comfortable and go around and meet and greet them, or maybe one at a time comes forward to meet you. Or maybe you just sit there and feel all the energy around you, acknowledging that your first language is energy. And I'm going to be quiet for the next minute while you acquaint yourself with your team. Beautiful. And just putting yourself somewhere in this room where you are comfortable, not judging what happened or what did not happen, knowing that you can come into this room at any time, that this is your own special room made for you, by you. And just notice now if there's any loved ones and ancestors that have passed that you can feel in your field. And I just want you to notice the peace and the calm that you feel. This is the feeling of spirit mode as you come into a space of service and giving to others from love, giving to yourself from love. And in this meditation, we really want to anchor the relaxation that it takes to come into the divine feminine, to receive the information from spirit with no judgment on how it comes through, but with greater awareness of the expansion of how it is coming through, the nuances of the communication between the worlds, between the dimensions. And now I want you to go and find the door that you came through. And notice the color of the door on the side that you're in the room. What is the color of the door on the side? It can be different to the outside. And what does the door handle look like? What does the door look like? We thank the ancestors, guides, angels, the entire spirit team for showing up for you today in your room to help you with your mediumship gifts as you expand into more awareness, as you become more conscious of yourself in all the right ways. And in your own time, I invite you to open the door and leave your spirit room, closing the door behind you, acknowledging that you can come back at any time. Coming back into the room where your body is, staying super expanded and light, but diving back into that body, into that heart space, and noticing what you notice about your body now. Noticing the space behind your eyes, noticing your breath going into your belly. Maybe you start rocking your body side to side or wriggling your fingers or your toes. Bringing the awareness fully back into your body, and in your own time, taking your time, when you're ready, open your eyes. Welcome back, beautiful beings. I hope you enjoyed your spirit room. This is the essence of a spirit mode, and as you can tell, as we go deeper into relaxation, we become more available for communication from those spirit team members, from the light beings to those who have passed, to those that we have never met. It's truly phenomenal. And if you did the meditation and you felt like you saw nothing, that is okay. We have a lot of deconditioning to do so we can access our true essence, which is communication with energy. Sometimes our mind will overtake our heart and our intuition, and that is okay because that's how we have been taught for survival on this planet. So I want to know how you're feeling now. How are you feeling after that meditation? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Pop down. What is the thing that popped out for you in that meditation? What did you see? Did you get any names, any visions? Did you smell anything? Did you just feel? Were you in a room full of flowers? Or were you in a nice, I quite often go to a white room with just a couch and a blankie with a cup of tea. Where were you? And I'm wondering if you did this again. You can do this meditation as many times as you like. You can just simply watch it again and again. I'm wondering if your room will change, or if you will start enhancing it and adding things to it. I'm wondering how close you can get to your spirit teams. I'm wondering if you're going to start doing mediumship in the room in this deep meditation. So today we've been through many things. We've talked about the lies that we've been told about mediumship. We've talked about how you use mediumship in your everyday life with your signs and synchronicities. We've talked about energy and how we can access our mediumship abilities by actually coming into more of our divine feminine, even if you're a male. Doesn't matter what our gender is. It's the same for everybody. We have talked about how you can enhance your mediumship gifts, and I've definitely given you some pointers on some of the foundations of mediumship when it comes to energy, entity clearing, working on our limitations, our mistaken beliefs, and also honing in on those gifts and really being clear about the intentions that we are creating. I truly hope that you got some value from this video. And if you have watched to the end, thank you. You have been officially activated. So please be gentle with yourself over the next few days. Drink a lot of water. Keep an eye on your dreams. Rest a lot. And know that it will all land in divine timing. If you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, please do so. Please feel free to share this video with your friends and family. And I also have a free community, which is Awaken Community with Victoria Bond, a free community on Facebook. Come on over and see us there, and I'll see you soon.